Hello everyone, in today's video we will be looking at Axe Woves from the Vintage Collection. Okay, so here's the figure on the card here, and yeah, it's a decent image there, it's pretty cool. Believe that's taken right from the show, and yeah, it looks pretty good. Got the yellow name pill there, and the figure in there. And the first thing I'm noticing, which I'm a little bit cautious of, is that helmet looks very squashed. I don't know if you can really, that looks a bit squished. So like I was anticipating it being the same sculpt as like the Boba Fett helmet that we've been getting with all these Mandalorian figures. It's that new and improved helmet, and obviously this is removable, and I think apart from the Boba Fett, like the Morak and Tatooine figures, those two, I think none of the others are removable. So this is one of the few that's actually removable, and it looks a bit squished in there right now. So that doesn't look great. But you got the rest of the stuff in there. I believe he's got one pistol, yeah, which is interesting because all these Mando figures have come with, obviously he's a bit different to all the other ones, but they've typically come with the two pistols and the rifle. And obviously Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves both had two pistols as well. This guy's only got one, so I'm guessing that's accurate to the show. Can't really remember. I'm guessing he only had one in there because he's only got one holster as well. So anyway, back of the card, 228. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this opened up. So this is the figure straight off of the card, and there's an extra bit in there for the jetpack. So we'll have a little look at that. So this is similar to all the ones we've been seeing on all the Mando figures lately. They all have the same jetpack, but I do quite like this one because this one just feels a bit more detailed. You've got the silver on the top there, all these little silver bits in here, and then that bright blue. And obviously the holes on the bottom there, so you can put those flame effects from that one Boba Fett figure that we got. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And here's the figure, so we'll go ahead and get him and that helmet and the pistol out. So there's the pistol left in there. I'm not going to talk too much about that because it's been in all of these Mandalorian figures and they're pretty basic. So yeah, there it is there. So here's the figure himself. Now I believe, I think I read somewhere that he's the same sculpt, maybe apart from the holster, as the Death Watch Mandalorian that we got. So might do a little comparison in a sec, but this guy looks pretty cool. That face sculpt looks pretty spot on to me. I think there's a little mark there. I don't know if that's meant to be there or not. I don't know if that's a little detail on his face there. But yeah, he looks awesome. Got the slight bits of weather in there on the chest plate. I like the colour scheme of his armour. I think it's really cool. The bright blue bits that stick out. Got the rocker ankles there, which are great, and they feel pretty great as well. So yeah, that's awesome. And swivel chest and all that. So yeah, he looks pretty cool. I do like the stubble on him. I think that's a really good likeness. I think they've done a good job on that, which is great because it's good to finally have him now, that trio from the show of Bo-Katan, Koska Reeves, and now Axe Woves. Because they're all really well done figures. They've got great articulation, great paint, like everything. They're some of my favourite figures. And so to finally get this guy as well with a great head sculpt is pretty good. Because I probably will display. I've got the other two displayed with the helmets off. So I probably will end up displaying this guy with it off. And speaking of helmet, yeah, that doesn't look good. That is a bit squished. So that's disappointing that they squashed it in the packet like that. I don't know why, because all the other figures with their removable helmets had plenty of room. So yeah, the rangefinder doesn't turn on it, doesn't move. Apart from bending it like that, it doesn't swivel up and down. The paintwork on it is pretty good, and it's spot on. Apart from maybe that little mark there, doesn't look great, but it's on the back. It's not a big issue, but everything else, yeah, it's a bit iffy round there. There's a couple of little marks all around it, but for the most part, it's fine. I do quite like this silver. So you've got like this darker silver, like very metallic looking silver, and then you've got the little white weather marks there. So yeah, it is annoying because if I'm posing him holding it, it looks a bit goofy. It almost reminds me of the old Mandalorian helmet, like sculpt, because the helmets used to be too tall. I found them way too thin. And then with that Boba Fett that we got before, that sort of like changed all the helmets after it, it widened them. But this is like, because it's been squashed, it doesn't look great. So we'll stick it on him, see if that improves it. Because obviously, yeah, it looks a bit better on him now it's filled out, but like with a lot of the removable helmets, it almost looks a bit too big. I don't think it's as noticeable as some of the ones we've got recently. And you got this helmet here, which is nice. We've seen it before. It amazes me how this one is fine, and the Axe Woves one's all squished up. But because they are very similar, if not the same. I think this bit doesn't look as tall. I'm going to guess that's because, obviously, this guy's bald, and Axe Woves, where is he? He isn't bald, he's got hair. So obviously his helmet needs to account for that. And I think that's one of the things why it looks a little bit off to me is, yeah, it's a little bit higher. So yeah, that's interesting. So like with some of the clones that we've had, you know, their helmets look a bit wide, a little bit big. It doesn't look too out of proportion. It looks okay, but it's just a weird shape for me. It's throwing me off. I think because as well, I've sort of, especially recently, it feels like I've done back-to-back Mando figures. I'm used to seeing this sculpt, and it is off a bit because I think it's a bit bigger. They've hollowed out this, I guess, to inside to fit his head. So it's going to be bigger than most of the ones we've had recently, but it's almost like I want to push it there and it fill out a little bit. So there are ways of doing it. I know you can like heat up the plastic and like bend it into shape and stuff. It's a bit of a hassle, but there are ways of getting that shape back. It's not a big deal. I think if I was leaving it on, I might leave it on him for a while, because I think then that'll give it maybe more shape. And then when I take it off and pose him properly. So yeah, and then for the back, jetpack goes in there. You got the holster for his pistol. So yeah, we'll get him set up and then we'll talk a little bit more about him. So some final thoughts on this figure. He's pretty cool. I'm glad we've got all three of them now. I don't know what took so long, really. I mean, we had Bo-Katan ages ago now. I can't remember exactly when. Definitely back at the start of the year, I think. And then obviously we had Cosca Reeves. So now it's nice to finally have all three of them. I think we'll probably be seeing more of Cosca Reeves and Axe Woves in the show, I imagine. Going forward, we're definitely going to see more Bo-Katan. So to have these figures is awesome. I love the design. I think the face sculpt is really well done. By looking into it more, it looks a lot like him, you know. And I really like his outfit design and everything. The way the blue really sort of pops out against the other color. I don't know what you'd call that. But it's like a dark-ish color. But yeah, he looks awesome. If I had one complaint, I'd say it's the helmet's a bit weird. I recorded the video for my Morak Boba Fett at the same time I did this. and he's got a removable helmet. Whether they're the same type of helmet, they look very similar in the show. They obviously different colors and that, but I think they are the same design, I want to say. But obviously they've had to make this one a little bit bigger and taller to fit the hair. But I think the biggest thing for me is just why it was squished in the box. I think that's a shame. I think if you're posing him with the helmet on, it's not so much of an issue, but I'm probably going to pose him with it off because the face sculpt is so well. Otherwise, he kind of blends in as just another Mandalorian figure. This way he stands out a bit more. So it is a bit of a shame that it's squished, but that does happen with these figures from time to time, and I suppose it could have been worse. So there's not really much else to say. There's not an awful lot to say because he is the same sculpt as the Death Watch Trooper that we got, just a different paint scheme on him. And yeah, I think they've nailed it. I think he looks awesome, and he's going to look cool posed with my other Night Owls. So yeah, I think that's probably all there is to say on this. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. And let me know your thoughts below. I'm always happy to hear everyone's thoughts. And of course, you can follow me on other social medias as well if that is something you're interested in. And yeah, just thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.